Hello. Um, Today I just wanted to make a short video about basically about the meaning of God. So what I mean by that is I know there was a famous author called Nietzsche that probably some or many of you know about. He has a famous quote called uh, you know God is dead, basically. And there are probably many of you that are more well read about him than I am, but I still know a bit about him. So yeah, the main point there is that basically he believed that God was a unifying force in a lot of societies before, meaning that it gave people a shared values, a belonging, and a shared outlook on life. That at least in that respect, in that regard, was a force for good, as it tied people together, it tied a community together, and gave them an idea on how to live life. But when people started to lose faith in that, and probably for good reasons, partly for good reasons, they also lost something else, meaning that they lost this kind of you know shared values and unifying force. But so yeah, one of his main points then was that, well, we now need something to replace God with. And one of his ideas was that, well, yeah, we need to replace that with culture. And as he believed that could, be as impactful as God and religion was. So yeah, so I started thinking, and then I started thinking about different nations and countries in the world and how they fall in that respect. So some of the countries I thought about was Italy, and because I've been there a couple of times, and also I met people from there, and also just generally seen stuff from there, and it seems that they have a very strong culture. They have a lot of just how they live life, a lot of a lot of cultural meanings in the things that they do, in the things they go about their life. And I think it gives them a sort of a national identity and a national pride, and once again shared meanings and a shared outlook on life. um, so yeah, another country I can mention is Ireland. And even though Ireland is like a relatively small country, they have still produced like so many great authors, Nobel Prize winners, and I just think that says something about the importance of communication and how they communicate in that language, and the role that language has in that society. Um, so yeah, I really think that's a really strong cultural element there. I'm also going to mention France, because many people say that France is like the birthplace of culture, and what they mean by that is, like, if you look at like literature, art, like paintings, like philosophers, even like architecture and fashion, a lot of that comes from France and stems from that. Um, so yeah, you could obviously say that they have a lot of cultural items and cultural impacts. Not only for themselves, they also have a large cultural impacts on, like, the surrounding countries and nations as well, and the world as a whole. Uh, yeah, and yeah, the last society I want to talk about is Japan. And even though there are still things, as with every country, there are things that could be improved upon there, like in how it functions and things in general, for sure. I still think that they have a very distinctive culture, a very articulated culture, specifically like in like social manners and how they act towards each other. it may be perceived as maybe a bit rigid and could at times be overwhelming for some. But I just think that since there's a lot of social manners and like procedure for, or just unwritten rules in like how you should act towards the other people, like in the job environment, I feel like in each time you're involved or you're participating in these actions, you're kind of reinforcing your belonging within that culture, and you're reinforcing the national identity. And I just feel that that's like an antidote to nothingness, really. And it gives people a shared sense of belonging, which we all need. Yeah, so that's my video, guys. Thanks for this time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.